When you turn on the TV, it is likely that you will hear the term Muslim, and usually not in a good context. With the presidential elections and recent terrorist attacks, members of the Muslim community have been increasingly targeted, stereotyped, and discriminated against. According to NBC News, the amount of hate crimes against Muslims has tripled just this year. Girls wearing hijabs have been harassed. Mosques have been defaced and targeted by arsonists. A shopkeeper was beaten up by customers shouting anti-Muslim slurs. Thus, it was obvious to us that prejudice against Muslims exists on a national level. However, we were determined to find out if discrimination against Muslims is prevalent in our state, Minnesota. Last May, a Muslim couple, Adi Ohali and Rabud Abumayale, who was wearing a headscarf, went to go pick up their son from a friend's house in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. As they were waiting in their car for their son to come out, a lady suddenly began pounding on the window with a rifle, saying that she would kill them if they did not open the window. She then forced the Muslim man to get out of the car, with a gun to his back, to see if his son would identify him as his father. Once he did, the attacker presumably apologized, but still pleaded guilty in court for making terroristic threats. Raroud gave these words in an interview after the attacks.
The news, the wars, the media makes people hate Muslims around here. Maybe that's why. Something different now.
The discrimination and violence against Muslims that occurred in that situation is not an isolated incident in the Twin Cities. There are countless other examples of Muslims being denied the freedoms and rights they deserve. Jailani Hussain, executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations in Minnesota, gave these words about how this is affecting the Muslim community.
Creating this fear on both sides, on the Muslims' fear and then those who are of other faith fear, and then it leads into discrimination, hate, and then this idea of excluding Muslims from social and civic life.
There are also many students in Wayzata High School who have experienced or witnessed discrimination. I sat down with Zainab Hassan, a Muslim student, to hear her thoughts on this issue.
Hi, my name is Zainab Hassan and I'm a 10th grader at Wayzata High School.
Zainab, have you ever seen open discrimination against Muslims in your community?
Yes, I have, but most of it is indirect. With everything going on around the world, the Muslim community kind of feels like they have to take blame for something they're not responsible for, and I feel like other people have preconceived notions about people in the Muslim community, about like what they believe in and how they're gonna act, and just things like that where it's not really accurate.
These types of preconceived notions and stereotypes is shown in this situation that occurred at St. Cloud Tech High School. During lunch, a white male took a photo of a Muslim girl in a wheelchair and captioned it, "Disabled in ISIS too." This photo was taken without her consent and spread online within minutes. All these different instances of prejudice against Muslims make it clear that, yes, discrimination against Muslims is prevalent in Minnesota. However, there is a claim that the acceptance of Muslims in Minnesota has steadily increased in the past few years. In St. Anthony, the city council voted on whether to allow the first mosque and Islamic center to be built. The first time that they voted in 2012, the mosque was vetoed, but it was accepted in 2014 after another hearing. Many people felt the city had anti-Islamic reasons to not accepting the mosque, but the council members assured them that their reasons for vetoing the mosque were purely law-based. The area where the mosque would be built is an industrial area, and the council members did not think it would be an appropriate use of the property at first. Councilmember Hall Gray says, "Is it ever okay to discriminate against anyone for their religion? No. You would get the same answer from any one of us sitting up here tonight. The bottom line is, it was a land use issue." Other council members also made sure that their motives were made clear. They explained the property issues and stated that they wholeheartedly accepted the Islamic community within St. Anthony. There are also strides being made in the relations between Muslims and non-Muslims. Ramadan is an Islamic holiday which requires daily fasting, and those participating may only eat after sundown. The number of non-Muslims who attend iftars, which are the daily meal that occurs after sunset during Ramadan, is steadily increasing. Many people attend out of curiosity about the holiday and the Islamic faith in general. An example of one such person is Patrick Nervik of St. Paul. "I don't know too many Muslim people, so I was curious how they would come together for a meal," he said. "I think just being open-minded and experiencing other people's religion and cultures in general is good." The increased mix of religions and cultures of the people who attend Ramadan celebrations also signifies the strides being made in understanding Islam and dissolving the stereotypes around it. "In the past, people just didn't know," said Ased Zaman. So now many more people know, and with that, there's an uptick in acceptance. In conclusion, there is discrimination present against Muslims in Minnesota. However, if viewed from another angle, there has been an increased acceptance of Muslims in the past few years.